Hey, you guys, welcome back to Being Becoming the Podcast, BBP. I'm your girl, MB, and of course, as always, we have our other co-host, Janelle, here. Whoop, whoop.
Hey, everyone.
So welcome. If you are part of our family, we consider you our homies. Just to give any new people a little bit of background. Me and Janelle actually met at the University of Kentucky in Holmes Hall. So everyone that rides with us, rocks with us, is watching and listening and engaging with these episodes are part of our homie crew. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to our homies. But a little bit about becoming the podcast. You guys know I always have to give our little spill. So we are a weekly podcast who drops episodes every Thursday. As you know, we talk a little bit about anything and everything, but we're always here to help people on their journey to become. So we leave that open-ended for our audience. Whatever you may be working on, whether it be, maybe you're working on your finances, maybe you're working on, your physical health, stamina, whatever that may be, we hope that we're able to help you with that, but we also hope that you're working on the journey to become the best version of yourself, because that's all that matters at the end of the day. But as always, we do have to give the caveat, you guys, we are not experts here, but we're always in, the realm to do the work. So girl, I just want to give, before we get into this week's episode, I just want to give you guys an idea of what we have coming up. So last week was our 30th episode. If you missed out on it, you missed out on a lot. It was a really good episode and there was a lot of funny times. I think I was cheesing from ear to ear the whole episode. But anyway, because of our 30th episode that just passed, we are doing, a giveaway. You guys have until Wednesday, July, I believe 7th. Yes, Wednesday, July 7th to actually put in, your raffle or your drawing for that. Just going over to the Being Becoming Podcast IG page. We're doing 3 drawings, so 3 winners will win. Just follow the steps again on the Being Becoming Podcast page to enter. It's very easy steps, and we have some awesome prizes. So I definitely don't want you guys to miss out on that. Again, you have until Wednesday, July 7th to enter at midnight, but we're going to be announcing we're going to be announcing the winners. We're going to be announcing the winners on Thursday, July 8th, when our new episode drops. So stay tuned for that. But girl, what are we talking about this week?
So we're going to be diving into helping others, okay? So have you ever came across unfamiliar territory and didn't know what to do?
Yes.
So in most cases, people can sense when you're new to a position, a lifestyle change, or a new area like a state or a city, and they offer you help and ask if there's anything they can assist you with. Generally people will take them up on that offer and learn how things work and get adjusted to their new environment or job role. But some people, may have a hard time accepting help because they feel like they're lacking, they're incompetent, or an inconvenience to the person offering help. So today's episode will focus on accepting help from others and how to be at peace with it.
Yes. I think this topic is so important because I feel like as we start to look over our lives, we haven't lived for long, but as we start to look over our lives, I start to be able to point to certain people who have helped me, even without asking. Certain people who have just helped me along with my journey, and without them being in place, I don't know if I would have been, where I am at the moment. So I always kind of look back on that and be like, hey, if so-and-so hadn't helped me out or, spoke to that person or even told me about, so-and-so or what was coming up, I probably wouldn't have had this opportunity, or I wouldn't have been able to move to that next step, or I wouldn't have known this information. So it's so important to be willing to accept help from others, because I feel like a lot of people, like you said in your intro, a lot of people, either they don't know how to go about it, or they feel like it makes them, they're not as smart, or it makes them weaker, or they don't want to be an inconvenience. So I definitely think this is an important topic to talk about, is, making sure you accept that help, because everyone gets help.
Definitely so. And my thing is, I never really had a problem accepting help. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Because you learn as you go through this process, you learn along the journey. And of course, that is how you learn too, is when other people show you the ropes. You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Mhm.
So everything that, you're going to do, you have to have some sort of training, um, some type of, advisement, basically.
Yeah. You can rarely can you ever go into a new job situation and not, be trained by someone else or shown
Mhm.
the ropes, because like every company does something differently. Yes, you may know, the overall idea of what you're supposed to be doing in your position, but there's different practices, procedures in place that someone has to walk you through. So we're
Mhm.
accepting help all the time.
Exactly. And sometimes you might not just, realize it, but then when you do realize it, you be like, I got this, but of course everyone try to do it in their own manner. But again, like MB just stated, sometimes the company will prefer you to do it their way than your way.
Right,
And you
right.
have to, be okay to follow their rules and
Mm-hmm.
guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes. Girl, I'm always willing to accept someone's help. Sometimes even when I can do it myself. Because I feel like time is so important. So like if you can find someone who's an expert in something and utilize them or ask them for assistance in something, it can save you so much time on the back end to do other things that you feel like you're great at or other things that you want to work on or whatever that may be. I stay using the phrase, that's not in my wheelhouse or that's not part of my ministry. Because there is a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things that I'm great at, but there's a lot of things that I'm like, I don't think I'm ever going to really put the effort or time into learning. Or I just don't think, I don't think that's God's calling on my life. Like,
Yes.
girl, hair is one of them.
Really?
Yes. Girl, I finally got a beautician in Atlanta and I'm so happy because like it's not that I can't do my hair. I think what it really is I don't want to put the time and energy into it to like learn. So like I'm one of those people, one way that I personally express myself is through my hair. So I'll have like different hairstyles. Like you guys know, if you're watching this podcast episode, I'm gonna be real with y'all. I wear my own hair, I wear a weave, I wear a wig, I'll wear some braids, like whatever it may be. That's how I express myself. So it is not my ministry to do all that. I'm not, if I want some color, it's not my ministry. Like, I have to go to an expert in the field and get her to do it. Plus, it saves so much time. Like I'll be sitting there detangling my hair for like 2 hours where I go to the beauty shop and she get me combed out in like, 5 minutes, blow dried, flat iron. I'm out in an hour. So it's just certain things. That's just an example, you guys, but there are certain things I feel like are not in my wheelhouse. I'm not meant to do it. That's why I resource out.
Man. And like you say, you do have to really find your niche. You get what I'm saying? And you have to be comfortable in that niche and you have to be comfortable telling people, hey, that ain't my niche. Don't be trying to do a job that you can't do.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
MB said, I love to do hair. I will do tutorials on my hair myself. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I don't know how to do is braids. But if I knew how to do braids, y'all, I would never be in a shop.
Mm-hmm.
Never. But like one thing for me is makeup. I love doing makeup. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
knows this. I will practice and practice and practice on myself because that's my niche.
Right.
But other people, if somebody was to be like, hell, I need you to do me some dreadlocks or what is it, the butterfly locks or something like that.
Yeah,
I'd
that's
be
real
like,
popular.
I don't know what I'm
Yeah.
doing. Like, I don't know how to do that, baby. Should
Right.
you walk up out of my house with your hair tangled and everything else, ask me to do something like that? But it's very important that you stay in something that you're comfortable in and
Yeah.
that you really, really do know and that you love. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And don't be afraid to say, hey, I'm not able to help you, but that person over there is more than capable of helping you in that area.
Right.
And just being resourceful, like MB said, it saved you time, it saved you energy, and it saved you a lot of built up frustration. You get what I'm saying? Because you're not able to do it or to really assist that person fully to your, capabilities because you don't know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the aspect that you kind of put on it as like you may not know how to do it, or someone might ask you to do something, but allowing another person an opportunity, or resourcing out to someone else, or saying, "Hey, I know Sheila down the street." I don't know why I use that name, but I know she can do this, and she'll be, let me ask her if she may be willing to help, because I feel like some of us are great at accepting help from others, but on the flip side, are you great at paying it forward, or letting someone else know, like, hey, so and so helped me in a great way, so I'm going to make sure I help someone else. Because it's not always, I think a lot of people, when they think about like help, they think, okay, well, so and so helped me, so let me keep in my back of my mind, like, next time they need help, I need to help them. And that's not always what you need to do. Sometimes, so and so helped you, pay it forward, help someone else, bring someone else in the circle, provide your knowledge to someone else. Don't always just be you two back and forth.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think the key, that flip you put on it, is like key.
It is. I'm telling you. And my thing is, how can I say it? You put a huge spin on it too. When you receive, make sure you give back.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's better to give than to receive as well. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you just never know. The process of being helping is a blessing in disguise, not only for you, but as well as the individual. So look at it from different perspectives when receiving help or giving help, because it can further you. And then, say for instance, other opportunities arise in that moment as well.
Yeah.
When you, your managers or whoever is in that leadership position see you helping and willing to help others along the journey, they'll be like, you know what, she got some great leadership skills. You know what, let me go ahead and promote her. You know what I'm saying? So it's a bigger blessing in disguise sometimes when you're helping others.
It definitely is. One, kind of piggybacking off of what you said, one thing I always think about is you never know who's able to put you in a room that you never stepped foot in. Just based on, you don't even have to have an interaction with that person. Like Janelle said, it may be a manager, it may be a friend, someone we've talked about this before. There's been people in our lives that we don't keep in contact with, whether it be church folks or whatever it may be, but they've been watching us.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been taking inventory, and they're proud of us, and they may mention our name in a conversation with someone, and then someone else might reach out to us and be like, hey, so-and-so mentioned you, and I'm really interested in working with you on something, or an opportunity may arise because other people are always watching. I never think that people aren't watching me, even if people aren't as engaged as I would personally like them to be. Maybe people aren't commenting as much, and I physically don't see it, but that doesn't mean people aren't watching. I remember when we first started becoming, and again, it wasn't a podcast, it was literally on YouTube. It was just me sitting and talking with a couple of my friends about different topics and issues. And I had taken like a 3-month break from it. I was like, no one's watching. I'm like really down on myself. Yes, I love doing this, and it provides me so much. Like, I just felt good about doing it, but I felt like it wasn't reaching anyone. And literally at the end of like my 3-month break, I started getting like text messages from my friends and family. It's like, hey, are you no longer doing, the Being Becoming? I was watching. I was so proud of you. I was doing this and that and telling my friends about it. And I was like, oh, you were watching? You paid attention? They're like, yeah, why would I not pay attention? So you never, again, I give that example because you never know who's watching you. You may not see it in the beginning, but people are paying attention. So yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And that's huge. Like you said, everyone is always watching you. I tell people this, as everyone know, I am a teacher. And the crazy thing is you really do have to be a positive role model and leader, because these kids are constantly watching you.
Oh, definitely.
You get what I'm saying? And the thing is, I know you'd be like, oh, these are young kids. They're 5 and 8. They're not, you know what I'm saying? They're not paying attention to me. Baby, that is totally the opposite. Let me tell you, kids these days, they know everything. First off, they pay attention to what you said, who you said it to, how you said it.
Yep.
They pay attention to what you do, how you move. It's almost like, I don't want to say they study you, but they really know your tendencies and what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my kids know my whole layout of the day, not because I just structured that way, but they know Miss Cook usually do this. Miss Cook usually goes here. They know me. My kids know me. Like to a T.
Yeah.
So when I say you never know who's paying attention to you, and how your actions will motivate or encourage someone else, it really does. I mean, it really does. And one of my kids, they actually DM'd me the other day. He's in a different school district and everything now. And he was like, Miss Cook, I used to just watch how you interacted, with all of us. And I can say you were genuinely that person who showed love to us despite anything that we were doing. And I was like, really? And he was like, yeah. He was like, I remember I had did something and everybody else was coming at me so hard because I made that mistake. But he was like, with you was like, shoot, things happen, you learn from it, and you keep it pushing. And the crazy thing is that I'm like, dang, it's crazy how these teenagers and kids really think back and look at it from different perspectives and be like, you know what, I appreciate that in that moment, and you taught me something from it. And I'm just like, okay. But again, you never know who's watching and who's paying attention. Just just be mindful of that. Because, girl, I ain't gonna lie. I was talking about one of the parents one day. Girl, she just came up to the school looking a hot mess. And I had let it slip out my mouth before, you know what I'm saying? I watched who was, around
you.
And one of the kids, they was like, yeah, she look a hot ass mess. I said, it was funny to me in that moment. You get what I'm saying? But me, I was like, oh, Lord, forgive me. I was talking in front of the kids about this lady. Lord.
Yeah.
So you never know who's watching, y'all. You never know. You don't. And like I said, my kids are very blunt. That's one thing about how can I say, urban kids, especially our African American kids. They are very blunt, straightforward, and honest. So they'll be like, yep, you right.
Girl, they mimicking your behavior.
I know. So that could be a good thing or a bad thing. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, always keep it. I always keep it in the back of my mind when anything that I'm doing. But I want to kind of talk about, because I know we talked a little bit about, really some people who struggle with asking for help. There is kind of like a vulnerability part of it. Because I feel like sometimes people get scared of, like, if I ask them for help, are they going to be like frustrated with me? Are they going to say no? Some people get scared of like that no. So I definitely think people should always examine why they feel that way, but they should also examine, beliefs on receiving. I think that is key. Because sometimes when you struggle with asking people for help, it's because you just don't believe either you deserve to receive help. You may have had issues in the past with asking people and people being consistent when you ask them for help. So maybe you're like, well, every time I ask so-and-so, or every time I ask my friends to do something, they're never helping me out. So why would I even ask them in the first place? I'll just do it all myself. And then you'd be frustrated with your friends because you never asked in the first place, and you're making this assumption that they're not going to help you, even though you have seen, like, maybe repeated behavior in the past. So definitely I say it's key to examine your beliefs. Take inventory. As you're doing stuff, take inventory, evaluate, have conversations. We've talked a lot about friendships on previous episodes. Figure out if that's a friend that you specifically need. I definitely think, as we talked about in this episode, like, everyone has their own ministry. So sometimes maybe don't ask a friend to do a certain thing that's not in their ministry or calling, because maybe they don't have the skills or capability to do it. So be very realistic within that. But outside of that, if you feel like, hey, I have a friend that does a lot of YouTube videos, and I know she edits her YouTube video. Like, I'll give you an example. Perfect. Janelle, she has a lot of like videos that she has to do for like work. And I personally edit our podcast episodes. So it would be nothing for Janelle to ask me to assist her with editing a video for work, because it's something that's already in my ministry. It's not my favorite thing to do, but it's something that I'm able to do. And Janelle does so much for this podcast. Janelle does so much for me, whether she did one thing for me or not. I know I want to help my friend out. So that's a perfect example.
Yes, yeah. Y'all just don't know how much I go to MB for technology, y'all. I am not the brightest marble when it comes to technology. Don't get me wrong.
Too, shoot.
It's like I'm not that bad, but I'm not like super advanced in it. But yeah, MB has always helped me and assisted me. I'm telling y'all, what would you do without your friends? And like MB said, you have to go to each friend that is good within their niche. Like, say for instance, we got a homeboy named Steve. Steve is good with stocks. You get what I'm saying? I'm not going to give nobody no real advice on stocks, because that's not my niche, but that's his niche. You get what I'm saying? So you have to really prioritize that friend with what their niche is. You get what I'm saying? Mine is I'm more able to relate to kids and mentor. If you need any spiritual advice, encouragement, I'm your person. You get what I'm saying? If you need some makeup done, okay, cool, I'm your person. But like I say, each person you go to for some type of help and assistance in an area that you're unfamiliar with, whether that's hair, whether that's nails, whether that's real estate, whether that's health and fitness, you just have to find that balance and find that niche of that person. Be like, you know what? Boom. I saw that, you lost 100 pounds and I'm trying to get there with you.
Right.
Can you assist me? What type of workouts do you do? That's the person you need to go to. Don't you come to me if I'm still eating cake and donuts. You get what I'm saying? I'm just going to be real with you. You can't
Right. And that's what I've learned so much, even like outside of like friends, even family. Like asking, because you want to depend on your family, you want to ask them to do certain things and assist with certain things, but like you said, there's certain things that are just not in their wheelhouse, and you have to be understanding with that. And I've learned that so much throughout life, because I think was it last week we talked about there was one episode we talked about friends, and like, it was what we don't like. Yeah, we had talked about a situation with friendships and you expecting them to be a certain way, because like, if I would do it, or if I wouldn't do it, why wouldn't you do it? So to say all that, there's just certain things you can't expect them to be like you, and you shouldn't want someone that's exactly like you. You're going to be annoyed by that very quickly. If I found the exact me, I'll be annoyed. We'd be trying to one-up each other the whole time.
We'll be beefing. We'll be constantly bumping heads. You get what I'm saying?
So yeah, I definitely think you just need to be understanding, and we're talking specifically, I mean, it's applicable to so many situations. Friends, family, coworkers, any type of relationship, really. Just be a little bit more understanding. And again, what I originally said, going back to examine your beliefs on receiving and examine your beliefs on asking for help. So yeah, that's just all that's key. I hope that made sense. I feel like we kind of took the long ways to get to that. But it was real advice. Like, it was real things that we both are working on and learning. So yeah, I hope all that made sense to you guys.
This is my thing. I know this saying, you guys heard it a million times and it's been preached. It's the gospel. Ask and you shall receive. Ask and you shall receive. I tell people that all the time. If I am struggling, I'm going to ask, and 9 times out of 10, you will receive it. I just want to go ahead and say 10 out of 10, you will receive it. And that's so true. That is so true. Anytime I've needed help, and when you ask somebody and they genuinely care and are concerned, then of course they're going to help you. Of course they're going to help you, and they're going to come through each and every time. Each and every time.
Yeah, I don't know if Janelle knows this or if she peeped this in college. So I was kind of getting out of it in college. But if anybody knows me from high school, then you know this, even though it's really not my personality, but oh well, I'll tell the story. When I was in high school, I used to be perceived as like very, very shy. I'm one of those people, I always use the phrase, if I don't know you, I don't know what we're talking about. So unless you approach me first, like I used to. Again, this is something I used to do. Now I just really talk to everybody. I'm way more sociable than I used to be when I was younger. So again, just to relate to some of those people that are out there, like I used to be one of those people, like I didn't really ask for help. I really didn't say too much. It was almost, I wasn't mute. Like I wasn't one of those people that was mute. Like I was still sociable in a sense, but I was very, very quiet. And unless like I personally knew you or we were talking about some work in school or whatever it may be, like I really wasn't talking to you. Like I wasn't the one to initiate a conversation. So yeah, you guys, like if that's you, like I completely understand it. I think I probably had my reasons for that back then. I probably was a little afraid of like, you know, whatever came out of my mouth, maybe they didn't agree with it. I don't really know 100% what my reasons were. It was just more of like being shy and probably not wanting to be rejected. So that's probably what my main reason was back then. But yeah, you guys, I've learned so much in life, and if I could do it over again, I probably do it a little bit different because I just don't care now. Like, if you don't like me, you don't like me. You're not for me. Like, that is the point I'm at now in life. And just, you know, I don't want to say get over it because I understand everyone's journey, and a lot of people deal with anxiety. And that can be very, you know, when you're trying to social and being around a lot of people, I know that can be very troublesome. But, you know, just kind of try to work through it. Like people are all weird. I'll start off with all that. Like we all have our weird niches and nicks and things of that nature. But just I feel like there's always something you can come together with on common ground. And that's what I always try to search for when I'm having a conversation with a new person. Like what can we agree on? What can we have like common ground, and how can we start that conversation? So yeah, a tangent for me right there. But I hope that kind of helps someone out who's like kind of struggling with, you know, even having a conversation or asking someone for help because they don't want to be perceived as like, oh, you know, I'm being rejected or I'm weird or whatever that may be. We're all weird out here, to be honest.
So, yeah. And never be afraid of rejection. Rejection is meant to grow you mentally. It's meant to push you. And then sometimes that rejection is a good thing. That person, that place wasn't meant for you, but somewhere else better is meant for you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we look at it and be like, oh, I failed. But little do you know, that was a setup for a come up.
Right.
So you have to really look at it from a total different perspective. And you will grow to appreciate that. Because I know I did. You know what I'm saying? People used to be like, oh, you're just so cool with it. You know, and I ain't gonna lie, it took me a minute to be cool with it, you know. And I think I became very comfortable with the whole rejection thing about 16, I want to say. Because it's like, it's either you're gonna like me or you're not. And at that point, I kind of got in that mentality of, I don't care who you are, what you do, any of that. It doesn't influence me or bother me. You get what I'm saying? And it's, how can I say it? Some people go out to please people. And you, I don't do that.
Yep.
I just don't. And I learned that at a very young age. It's because you will constantly lose out on yourself anytime you go out to please anybody else. So that's one thing I just don't do. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're like in my relationship status or something like that, and I know my guy likes this, okay, cool.
Right.
You know what
different.
I'm saying? That's different. But other than that, never go outside of your comfort zone to please or to get praise or looked at. You know what I'm saying? Never do that, because then you lose sight of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely think that's key. Not focusing on being a people pleaser, because you like you said, you're really going to lose yourself in doing that. And yes, like you may lose some friendships in not doing that, like you being uncomfortable in certain situations, but again, that's not where you need to be, and that will be revealed with you to you in time. And I definitely agree. I think I got more comfortable with who I was as a person, and what I offer to friendships and relationships and all that when I turned 18. College was like a shocker for me in a good way, because it really allowed me, for the first time I was like truly on my own. And it really allowed me to develop, I feel like, those skills and start, to understanding more people. I don't know. We met when I was like 19. I don't know how you perceive me when that's a good question. So we could talk about this with our audience. When we first met, how did you perceive me?
How can I say it? I'm one of those people who get off the vibes. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, ooh, this person has a pretty good vibe. This person does. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. That's my personality. But even with you, we was both doing the RA Res Life thing. So we was at, school earlier than everybody else. And so that first couple weeks we got to really learn each other, I feel like. And I was just like, oh, I was just peeping the scene. You have to peep the scene. I'm from St. Louis, y'all. So we always watch our surroundings and we watch people, everything. So you pick up on things. And so I was just paying attention to that. I'm like, okay, she seems like she's cool. Like mellow vibe, you know what I'm saying? Quiet, but not too quiet. You get what I'm saying? Just totally right. And I was like, okay, cool. And so I peeped it, y'all. And so I want to say like 2 months later, I was in the dorm room cooking, y'all. I know we told this story before. But I was like,
got my heart.
Yeah, it was a Sunday. I really wanted some soul food. Anybody knows me knows I don't crave soul food that much, but when I do, I'm going full effect. And so I had cooked some fried chicken, some macaroni and cheese, some greens. Did I cook some cornbread? I think I cooked some cornbread.
I think you did, yeah.
And so basically we had all this food left over. And so I was like, shoot, let me go ask MB if she wants some food.
Yes.
And so I went down there and I was like, hey, I cooked. Do you want some food? And she was like, yeah. And so boom, it was like instant. You get what I'm saying?
Yep. We've been friends ever since. That chicken, that fried chicken. Yes.
But yeah, like I say, she's but even then in Res Life, I perceive you as an honest person. Like, when we had to do the workshops and all of that.
Yeah.
And just listening to you speak on different things, you just pay attention to what people say. That shows you a lot. I'm telling you, that shows you a lot of how a person is, how they would treat people, what type of friend they would be. That tells you a lot. You get what I'm saying? And so even with working with each other, like even through passion, she'd be like, hey, this is what's going on. Whoop, whoop, whoop. She's MB, do you know how thorough you are?
No. What
No, I'm just being honest. Like, you're very thorough. You get what I'm saying? And so that's one thing too. I was like, shoot, she teaching me something to be so thorough. Write down whatever notes you need to write down. Because I know it was one instance where it was somebody who was in the building who wasn't supposed to be in the building. It was like suspect type,
Oh, yeah.
And I said, and B just gave this thorough report. I said, okay, investigator,
Girl, shoot. You have to be.
Yeah, but then that's somebody who just pays attention, who's on top of their game. And I was just like, oh, this is cool. And then that's when we started really meshing and going out more, really talking to each other and all of that. So, and then that's when we was like, our friends, it was just like, boom.
I'm telling y'all don't even know. We had a good time in college, but me and Janelle were pretty much inseparable in college.
Pretty much.
I was like either in her room, she was in my room.
Yes.
We were in our friend's room. Like, we hung out.
We did everything, y'all. Like Walmart trips together. If you know you're in college, baby, a Walmart trip.
Yes. Go to the mall. Yes. And the college we went to, there wasn't. I always say, because we went to University of Kentucky, so if you guys know, I know we're going on our personal story, but I don't care, you guys. You're getting to know a little bit more about us. So, we'll get back to the topic at hand. But Lexington is where our college is. And I feel like Lexington is nothing but one long, big street. Like, everything's on one street. Yeah, it is a big old circle. And we would just do everything. But to go back to her story, like, when I originally told you guys just find something that you guys connect on, we connected originally on food. Like Janelle bringing me food. I can't tell you how many Sundays or Saturdays or weekends we would spend in the dorm and we would just cook. Both of us would cook together. And, you know, our friends would come and we would eat and we just have a good old time. Like, that's what we connected on originally, but we've connected on so much more moving forward. But that was like our grounding point, was like, let's get together, let's make a meal, let's have a good time. So it's just key. And girl, thank you for all the praise. You know, it's hard for me to accept certain things, but I appreciate it. And you know what, Janelle, let me give you some praise too. Janelle, when I originally met her, it was just, like she said, it was just cool vibes. Like, Janelle's always been one of those people that's like just real cool. She's like go with the flow for the most part. And she really does like ride for her friends. Like, you're not about to tell her something about who her friends is.
Period. I will check you.
Right, because she's gonna be like, I'm sorry, what? And who are you talking about? Like, she just really rides for her friends. And even when she gets into arguments with certain friends, like, she's still like, you can still see, like, Janelle has a certain passion about her. A passion about life, a passion about the people that she loves. And like, even if she's mad at you, she's still gonna be like real passionate about how she's talking about you and say, I don't understand how this went wrong. How do we fix this? Because we've had issues with friends in the past. We've rectified those issues, but like, it's just like a certain fire I love about Janelle. And that's what really made me be like drawn to her. I feel like she's loving, she's honest, like, and she's just a really, like, she, outside of her, and she's super smart too. Like, some people, I mean, obviously we know now she has her master's and everything. Go girl.
Hold on, we both do.
Yes, both do. Yes. Both educated over here. But just very smart. And like she says, I peep stuff. Girl peep stuff too. We both be looking at each other like, be reading like, what is, okay. And she's just real honest. Like, I've had friends in the past that I've questioned just for different reasons. I've never had to question Janelle. I've never had to have a situation where I feel like Janelle don't have my back. Janelle's going around my back. She's just always been a loyal friend to me. So I appreciate it.
Ride or die. I got you, MB. I love you, my sis.
I love you too,
that's
girl.
The thing. And that's my whole thing. Like, MB knows. Like she said, I will ride or die for my friends. You get what I'm saying? Especially when I know this friend is loyal, this friend is honest, trustworthy. Right. No lie, I'm pretty sure I could leave $1 million around MB and MB not touch not $1.
I wouldn't. Shit, I'd just be like, hey, when you come back, are you going to give me a purse? What we doing?
Exactly.
You got this million right here.
Together.
Right. I'll be here gardening, but you.
But seriously though, and that's what you want, that's what you need. And y'all just don't know how many times I call MB and I be like, girl, I need some advice. What would you do if you were me in this situation? And if your friend can't keep it 100 with you on some real stuff, you need to be like, ugh.
Right.
So again, thank you, MB, for always being my go-to person.
Thank you too.
Look, honest, loyal, yes.
But to jump back into the conversation, because we are getting toward the end of the episode, kind of piggybacking off of what we just said, like, make sure that you feel the love and be grateful when someone does something for you. Because remember, somebody can do something for you without you asking. Like, people do stuff for me all the time without me asking. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. Like, I appreciate that so much. Like, you know, you helped me out so much. I didn't even know I needed the help, but you saw that I needed the help and you did it. And I just appreciate it. So, you know, be grateful in that moment. Feel the love. Really take in that moment and process what was done. Because I feel like a lot of us don't take time to live into the moments. We're always, especially our generation, we're always like, okay, I got to get to the next thing. I got to get to the next thing. We're not focused on what just happened and appreciating that. So when you ask someone to do something and they follow through, like, that's such a good feeling to ask someone to do something and they actually completed it and did it and it's off your plate. And you didn't have to put in the effort to do it. So yeah, just be grateful.
And you know what? This is my last little spill moment or whatever. How can I say? Just be authentic in who you are. People will be drawn to you naturally. Make sure you are a cheerful giver.
Yep.
And just be generous from the heart. Don't ever force anything. Don't be unsincere with it. Because anytime you're generous and people know that you're generous with it, I feel like so many blessings will come back to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's honest to God truth. Honest to God truth. And I preach on that so much. Be a cheerful giver. Whether that could be your last, not to be funny. It could be your last.
Can be.
And sometimes God will see that. Well, not sometimes. He does see it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But he will bless you for that.
Yeah.
He will bless you for it. And sometimes it's like immediately after you did it. I'm just speaking from experience, y'all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm telling you. Because I was like, okay, God, you saw me. You be like, God, you knew that was my last little $5.
Yeah.
Like, look at you. I said, he'd have blessed the kid with 100. You see that? I said, okay, God, I see you. That was a test. Oh, okay, I passed it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So just think of it from a total different perspective. Again, just always be cheerful. Never be afraid to ask for anything or ask for any assistance. And again, don't be the person who constantly receive and not give back.
Yeah. When you were talking about your $5 giving it or using it, and then you getting 100 back, it just made me think of, I feel like I've witnessed so many blessings in life, and it wasn't just me giving something. I remember coming home from work one day. Sometimes when you're entering like onto highways or intersections, you'll see like homeless people out there with their signs, and the car in front of me stopped his car. It was a cold day, got out of his car, took the jacket off of his back and gave it to that homeless man. And then I saw him give him some money and some food as well. And I was just so, I took in the moment. Like I just felt it in my heart. I knew right then and there I had witnessed a blessing for that man, but also I knew right then and there, I was like, okay, Makai, so what you about to do next? Like what, not that I need to give to that specific person, but how are you going to pay this forward? You just witnessed someone else being blessed. You need to go and bless someone. I just felt a calling on my heart at that moment because I had witnessed that and had seen how joyous the man was. Again, it was cold outside. He was just sitting there. He had just had a sign that was like, anything will help. And that man had just done so much for him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just crazy to witness other people's blessings, because it's not always you, again, like we talked earlier in the episode, it's not always you getting help. Sometimes you're witnessing other people get help, and that can motivate you, to help someone else. Or even it can motivate you to ask for help. Yeah. Because sometimes we're in situations where we're too prideful to ask for something, but we see someone else in a situation and they're blessed, and we're like, well, maybe we do need to ask for help. Maybe that can be our next way out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I just wanted to leave off on that for me.
That was a heart tug. No, I'm being for real though. Those are the experiences and moments where you really learn something, and it's always a takeaway message from it. Yep. And I tell people all the time, homeless people have a story. They didn't become homeless overnight.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? It was some type of traumatic experience. There was some type of loss involved that got them to that point. So you have to make sure that you give grace and mercy to everyone that you come in contact with. And don't be judgmental towards anyone, because hell, you might be in that situation. You never know. You never know. So again, look out for everyone. Be love. Spread love. That's the greatest gift you can give anybody, is love. And that's whether through gifts, expression, time. It's different ways to show that love and generosity.
Right. Well, you guys, that brings us to the end of our episode. Thank you so much for, riding and rocking. Ooh, my voice tried to go out right there, you guys. Riding and rock with us. Thanks our homie crew. We appreciate you guys so much. If you want to continue to engage with us in the podcast outside of, our weekly episodes, go on over to Being Becoming Podcast on IG. That's Being Becoming Podcast on Instagram. And, we try to post our weekly episodes, like what we're going to do before we actually record the episodes, our giveaways on there. So when this drops, actually, there will be a winner announced. So congratulations to whoever won that. You'll hear it in the pre-roll about the winner. And then we're going to shoot you guys a DM directly. So congratulations to you. And as always, if you want to follow me personally, go on over to I'm Just MB. I think I've told you guys recently, but I'm doing a lot more with real estate. So definitely want to, shout that out. And I'll be doing a lot more if you go to the I'm Just MB channel on YouTube. So you guys can see that. And giving you guys advice, because I feel like a lot of people are in the process of buying homes or wanting to buy homes. So I definitely want you guys to be informed buyers. But Janelle, where can we follow you?
At Beautiful J. That's on Instagram. If you guys want to look us up on Facebook, you're more than welcome to do that too.
Yep.
My real name, of course, Janelle, last name Cook. You guys can follow us on any platform, Instagram, yeah. Facebook. I don't have a Twitter. I don't know about MB. Nope. But follow. Look, we love you all.
I ain't trying to get in trouble on Twitter.
You know what? I feel like Twitter would be like a good and a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, y'all. Look, I ain't gonna talk about all that, but maybe we can talk about that on the next episode. Social media.
Right, social media and how we use it.
Right. Because y'all would be like, Janelle is funny and crazy.
Girl, yes, you are. Shoot, that's why I say I'm not trying to get in trouble on social media. So I'm just gonna. I'm not trying to get in trouble on Twitter. I'm gonna stay off. Y'all can't copy my tweets and show it 5 years later. Ma'Khia said this. Ma'Khia did not say that.
Keep it gangster.
Right.
Girl, y'all know I'm crazy, but for real, sometimes when people tell you look gangster, they gotta come out.
Feel you on that. But yeah, you guys, thank you for riding with us and rocking with us. Janelle said her full name, so I'll say mine because I know it says MB and I be saying MB a lot. My name's 𝒦𝒾𝓃 𝓃𝓃. I don't know why I said that so proper. But it's 𝒦𝒾𝓃 𝓃𝓃, so you can follow me on Facebook if you want to follow me on Facebook as well.
See ya, homie.
See you guys. See ya.